Hey everybody, finally getting around to doing the comparison between the two cars here. On the left you have the Mazda RX7 FD, it's a 1993, and on the right you have the 1995 3000 GT VR4. Both of these cars were of the same era and competing for bragging rights within that time period. They were both very high performance cars from Japan that were getting to the high performance part in very opposite ways. The Mazda RX7 does it with a sequential twin turbo 1.3 liter rotary engine, which weighs almost nothing. The car is about 2,800 pounds, does 0 to 60 in about 5.2 seconds, and the quarter mile at about 100 miles an hour. The 3000 GT, it comes in at 3,800 pounds with 320 horsepower, 315 torque, does 0 to 60 in just about the same time, about 5.5 seconds, and does the quarter mile in about 14 seconds at about 100 miles an hour. So both of these, like I said, are twin turbos. The Mazda RX-7 is a single oil cooler twin turbo, sequential. Like I said, the first turbo kicks in at 3,000 RPMs, and the smaller one goes up to 3,000 RPMs, and then the larger one kicks in from 3,000 up to whenever you decide to stop. In contrast, the 3000 GT is a twin oil cooler, twin turbo, straight twin turbo, so both of those engage at the same time. Which gives it some good launching out of the gate. As you can see, the difference in the size of the cars is pretty noticeable. Like I said, they both did the same thing, or trying to do the same thing, but from very opposite ways. The RX-7 comes in at 2,800 pounds. The 3000 GT comes in at 3,800 pounds. So what makes up that weight difference? Well, the RX-7 has the 1.3 liter twin turbo rotary engine, which weighs much less than the 6-cylinder 3 liter twin cam 24 valve that the 3000 GT has. In addition, the 3000 GT comes with active aero, all-wheel drive, all-wheel steering, electronic controlled suspension, just to name a few things that it comes with that allows it to put all of that power down and control the weight of the car. When you go into a turn, you could feel the weight kind of going into the turn, but then you feel the compensation or the offset with the steering and the grip. The car is just very well balanced, while also keeping with the GT, the Grand Tour. So there are a lot of things in the car, such as the leather seats, front and rear, in addition to the Infinity sound system. It has a glass roof, which in mid-95 they stopped making these and they went to a steel sunroof. Also in 95 they switched over to the 18-inch wheels. So the 3000 GT came in 3 generations. The first generation had the pop-up headlights. This is the second, with more integrated lights. You could see where those pop-up headlights used to be. And then the third generation changed out the whole front end and made the lights more integrated, as well as had a fixed wing instead of this wing here that moves when you have the active aero engaged, and at 55 miles an hour pops up and slants down, and you could feel the drag actually, pushing down. Also comes with the quad exhaust, which sounds insane. And now in contrast, the RX-7 has single muffler, twin pipes, but it's also devoid of all those creature comforts. The 3000 GT came in 3 trim levels, and they were all twin turbo. In contrast, the 3000 GT came in a base, an SL, and an SL, which both were front-wheel drive, naturally aspirated 6-cylinder cars, and then the VR4. Unlike the the RX7, which came in 3 levels, all sequential twin turbo. You have a base, an R1, and a touring. So a base is exactly what it sounds like. There is not much in it. You could have ordered it with other things, but it starts with basically the plain Jane of the group. Then you have the R1, which stepped up the performance aspect of it, which gave it stickier tires, stiffer suspension, twin oil coolers, and a strut bar, as well as the front and rear spoilers, or the front chin spoiler here. My car, this one here, is a touring. So what the touring did was it has a single oil cooler, but it added a lot of the creature comforts, such as the fog lights. This one has a steel sunroof. It also has the leather seats and the Bose sound system, which we'll get into all of that in just a little bit. So that added a little bit of weight. I think probably about 100, 200 pounds or so. The setup that you have on here, the original owner ordered it this way because this here has a special paint code, or a paint code that they did not use all that much. The paint code, which is right there, is an NT. And that NT meant that it was painted like on a rotisserie, which gave it more gloss, more thickness. And the issue, though, was, so those were the pros. The cons was that it had a really hard time sticking to the car, or the metal, which so it was very prone to flaking. This car here the paint is in immaculate condition, and it's also been ceramic coated. So there is no flaking, there is nothing that would actually create it, which is a chip of some sort that would just start to make it unravel of sorts. So this one here, like as you can see, is pretty much, and this is all original paint on both cars. Both are pretty much stock. The RX7 has these Advent wheels, which I upgraded to. The original wheels are 16 by 8 all the way around, which has a lot of sidewall and a lot of flexing when you go through the turns. These are Advent GTs. The fronts are 18 by 8.5, and the rears are 18 by 9.5. So there's a lot of stickiness, a lot of patch of the tire meeting the ground, in which in this car is a good thing, because it really does get up there in speed real quick. It's a very quick car, and it's a very fast car. And with the 16-inch wheels, if you don't know what's coming, it could get you in trouble. In contrast with the all-wheel steering, all-wheel drive, and the active suspension when you put it in sport, this car sticks to the ground like no tomorrow. So I've thrown this car into a couple of turns, and it has surprised me coming out the other end. Just an amazing car, performance wise. So let's get into the middle, or into the, underneath here. This one has struts to hold it up. The RX7, in order to undo a lot of the weight, does not. Oh, I also added the carbon fiber sills here, which go very nicely with the red. All right. So as I mentioned, there's a 1.3 liter sequential twin turbo. It does have the Peter Farrell intercooler, which is pretty rare. It was huge back in the 90s. Peter Farrell was huge in tuning these cars from the base. He'd change out the ECU, programming of the cars. It was just insane. The amount of power that he could get out of these engines, and without them blowing up, was just insane. I did add the strut bar. It does have a closed-in K&N filter. And other than that, it's all black and red with the exception of the boost gauge. And it's just a joy to drive. So it's outside of that, it's all original. It even has the battery cover, which many do not. And in contrast, you have a 6-cylinder, 3-liter here. So this one here, like I said, produces 320 horsepower, 315 of torque versus 225 and 213. So about 100 horsepower difference, and getting to 0 to 60 right around the same time. If that car had this horsepower, that would have been a true beast. Nothing would have stayed with that car with another 100 horsepower. But as you can see, it's all original, and it drives flawlessly. You have the electronic controlled suspension. It goes between touring and sport. Again, it's a V6 double overhead cam, 24 valve, 6-cylinder there. So it's really nice, just enough power to move 3,800 pounds, and just the setup is very, how can I say, very well balanced. That's probably the best way to put this car with everything that it comes with. So let me start it up here. So this car here comes with the Infinity upgraded sound system, and it has the equalizer. You could also plug in your phone here in the auxiliary. So when I had my previous phone, I was able to do that. With this phone, there's no plug, so I had to buy a Bluetooth adapter, which plugs into there and connects to the phone perfectly, just like how the other one was directly put in there. So really good sound. You have Infinity speakers kind of all around, so you get a nice surround sound. They're also in the back on either side. As you can see, these are beautiful leather seats. It's all original here. It's all, you have your controls for your windows, power locks, both, let's see here, and then the window lock as well. So you have cruise control. You have all of the gadgets and all creature comforts of a GT car. This car is great for going on a long drive, but still gives you the performance that will allow you to enjoy that drive and get on the car whenever you want to. It does come with the heater gauge, the water, and the boost gauge, which is really cool. Everything's pointing towards the driver. And what is also cool, you get this pictorial setup here on cruise control. You have your lumbar support here, and obviously your cigarette lighter here. It's a 6-speed. This is one of the other changes from the first gen. This is a get-rag transmission with a 6-speed. The previous one was a 5-speed. So at times I even forget to put it in the 6 gear, and because it just runs, you know, the car just it's so comfortable that you forget that you actually even have a 6 gear, almost like an overdrive, to put it in. You do have your electronic suspension here, which turn that on and off. Oh, let me see if I get that. It'll go from touring to sport, in which you can feel the difference when you're driving the car. And then this is something that was like brand new, groundbreaking at the time, which is having controls on your steering wheel. So you have your volume, the type of you know, if you want to listen to FM, AM, and however, I'm not really sure what these do. I've never used them. So, but you got your back seats, and we'll go back here. I'll show you. and that's stock. So what this car had, this is the screen or the cover for the glass roof, because on sunny days it will get very hot in the cabin. It's always nice to have this handy. That is a 6 CD player. Those are the cartridges, which are directly controlled from the audio system in the cabin. That is, not every car has that, so that's a nice addition. When I saw that, that was one of the reasons why I grabbed this car. And it has your privacy screen there, or cover. Let's see here, active arrow. See if we can turn this on. So I'll have to be driving. I'll show you that, how it engages. So in contrast, so remember that, and let's go over to the RX7. So when you get to the RX7, you could tell that the car is much smaller, no rear seats, does not have all of the kind of creature comforts that the other car had. I do have, like I said, I changed this out, and I do have the original tire, suspension, and audio system in the house. This has Teen Street Flex coilovers on them, so this way kind of I could dial in the ride, however, you know, for whatever I want to do with the car for that day. So as you can see, 32,000 miles on it. Got your boost gauge, drops back down to 750, even with the AC on. So, and you can just tell it's pretty tight in here in comparison. This does have the sunroof, which a lot of people tend to like or dislike, whatever. I tend to like it because it doesn't close up the cabin. You can open it up and make the cabin feel a little bit bigger than what it really is. So in getting back to the audio, what I did do was I kept the Bose sound system. I also have the mask, which never goes on, but just to have. I did keep the Bose sound system because it's just so cool. This is a beautiful setup for the day, and as you can see, the sound would come out of here, bounce off of the window, and then go into the cabin. So just a nice rich sound in going through this. Some people rip them out, whatever. I tend to like it. I think it's very nostalgic. And then in contrast, it's a nice little rumble, all right? But in comparison, yeah, 3000 GT just takes the cake on that one. Stock. So let's see here. Let's close that up. One of the things that people have a hard time with is keeping everything maintenance-wise the way that it should be. You know, people do their own thing, they modify it, they do whatever. That's, you know, that's their choice. Everything that's done to this car is for reliability. These intercoolers for these turbos, you could really feel the difference between the two. Between stock and this one, the R1 that I got rid of, in order to get this one, ran real hot, and it was a stock setup. This right here, in contrast, it just keeps it really flowing just nicely, keeps everything cool, and the heat won't back up into the turbos and fry them. So let's close this up. And what I'm gonna do is let's close this one up here.